Talking about the younger generations, we also touched base on the topic of future of work and how the entry-level jobs are being kind of replaced by different AI solutions. How do you find this paradoxical situation, right? The young talents, their kind of entry barrier became way more difficult to the job market because of AI coming into place and automating lots of tasks. At the same time, on the other hand, AI becomes their best companion for their emotional support, for their decision sparring, etc. How do you find this paradoxical situation?
Yeah, it does seem that maybe especially younger generation might develop some kind of love-hate relationship with these kinds of tools because of balancing their career with their personal use on that. So it should be said that the impact of AI on jobs is actually very new and sector-specific, skills-dependent, and we don't have yet a clear picture as to how it's changing the labor market. In part of that, it's because all of our forecasts in the past 100 years or so have consistently been somewhat inaccurate. And so the initial impacts of AI on jobs, we started people getting worried about that really hundreds of years ago. And in the 1930s, there was famously a New York Times article written that was called The Threat of the Machine Age, in which we were all talking about this dystopian futures around how AI will be enslave us and so on and so forth. But in fact, the reality seems to be more nuanced. So typically, new technologies tend to create more jobs rather than taking them away. We don't have nowadays as many people that work with cows and horses simply because we have the technologies that can actually do a much more effective jobs. But in turn, we have new jobs that maybe didn't exist 50 or 100 years ago. So that's something that typically changes with new technologies arriving into the labor market. Now, with regards to AI impacting entry-level jobs, there is some evidence that seems to hint that AI disproportionately does affect entry-level jobs simply because the technology now means that if used correctly, you need less, say in the legal sector, paralegals, in a professional setting, less interns. In creative environments, maybe you need less designers that can actually do a job where maybe 3 people were needed, now only 1 person is required to be able to do it at a similar level of quality in a shorter amount of time. So if anything, it means that there's going to be a higher competition for those entry-level jobs, and excellence and really being able to stick out will be one way of how younger generations can really stick out in a very crowded and competitive labor market.
In the startup scene, we tend to say that it's a matter of time when we're going to see the unicorn billion-dollar company built by one person.
Correct. And we see that also like in other geographies. So you can be a kid in Indonesia that vibe codes an app in 2 days, and that is now going to be used by thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. So there will also be opportunities. So it's not just to say that AI is going to be used by large organizations and corporates and then everyone else is kind of screwed. So the democratization of capabilities is something that is happening as well in any kinds of industries, whether that's film or design, or especially programming is one of them, that it allows different people who do not have access to these kinds of ability and skills to try and do something by themselves.